right? Just spending that 10 minutes with a glass of water. We lose about a glass of water, 8 ounces of water every night while we sleep due to respiration and perspiration. It's important to put it back in. People think that morning coffee is the reason they move their bowels. A lot of times it's just the act of something going into the stomach, can be water, that starts the liver and the gallbladder digesting, starts pushing things down and moving things out.
Let's learn how our next guest gets up, dress up, and show up on purpose. Enjoy the episode. Hello, morning enthusiasts. Welcome to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lunid, and today I'm honored. I am thrilled to have our next guest, Melissa Hall Klepacki. Now, she's a wellness advocate and healer, offers a vital perspective for those seeking answers beyond traditional medicine. With a master's degree in acupuncture and a background in education, Melissa has made it her life's work to help people understand the big why beyond their symptoms. This we need. We just don't want to treat the symptoms anymore. We want to know what the cause of it, the root of it, and just kind of pluck that sucker out, and so we don't have to continue to deal with the symptom. So I'm thrilled to have Melissa on the show. So with no further ado, Melissa, welcome to the show.
Dr. Lunid, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me to talk about creating routines and your best morning ever. It's a big passion of mine too.
Yes, and I know you have an interesting one, so everyone needs to stay tuned for what Melissa has in store. But we're going to start off with your why. What got you interested in wellness and becoming an advocate and a healer? What got you this far to this journey?
So I started studying alternative healing back in 1993. At the time, I was just 23 years old and had a back injury that wasn't healing. And someone suggested that I see an acupuncturist. And 3 weeks into acupuncture treatment, my life changed. Not only did my back feel better, but my headaches were gone, my PMS improved. And as it was explained to me, your body is one system. So when I was seeing somebody specifically for my back, they weren't treating me as a whole person. They weren't seeing it as a whole package. And so that was the very beginning of my quest to understand the why, to be able to treat the whole person as one symptom and understand that something that happens in one part of the body absolutely affects the rest of the body.
Yeah,
so I started studying that in 1993 and continued through the 90s. I studied a lot, wound up in a couple of different professions to make money. I took different jobs, but I've always come back to health. And when I fell ill in 2009, nobody understood what was happening with me. I had very disparate symptoms that 4 years later and 12 doctors later turned out to be Lyme disease complicated by a few co-infections. People rarely have Lyme disease as just one disease. Usually other infections are present, and I had a number of them. Wound up incredibly constipated due to all the antibiotics that doctors put me on for my Lyme disease. So that was sort of the beginning of my gut health journey. And since then have really made gut health my priority, as I'm finding that people are really sick. And the common denominator for all of my clients seems to be constipation. Nobody's moving their bowels correctly. And so if you're not moving your bowels properly and someone tries to go in and kill something in your body, a bacteria, a pathogen, and you're not getting that out regularly, it makes you feel sicker. It's known as a Herxheimer reaction in the world of Lyme disease, but it really is an overtoxicity. We need to be moving the bowels daily, not 3 times a week, not 4 times a week, daily, and sometimes twice a day, if we really want to be moving toxins out. So that's sort of understanding that, being able to fix my own gut, now working with all of these private clients who are tortured by the same thing, and being able to help them has really revolutionized my ability to help them long term. If I can't fix the constipation, there's not much else I can do. So everybody starts with moving bowels. And now I'm working on a group program so that I can bring the same expertise to more people at the same time. And like, I'm sure someone listening to this is thinking, this lady's talking about poop and constipation. It's not something that we talk about in our society. We talk about it with our kids until they're 3 or 4 or 5. Did you poop today? You take a look at it. You understand how your kid's moving their bowels. Or like a lot of kids today have a lot of constipation problems, so they're working on those and talking to them. But once things normalize, we stop talking with our kids, with our spouses, with our parents, with our friends about pooping because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
However, it needs to be discussed. Doctors need to be talking to their patients. Practitioners need to be talking to their clients to understand at the very base root, how is your health based on how well you're moving your bowels?
Yeah. There's a staggering stats out there that says 80 to 90% of the diseases begin in the gut because we're not clearing that out on a regular basis. So I totally understand. And it's not being treated. You think about the large intestine, it's just, it build up. Really, it just build up. And it's
It is built
unhealthy.
up. And in fact, I've identified 8 root causes. So we talk about the why, right? It's different for everyone, which is why Sally and Barbara have radically different experiences when they both take the same medication or herb or supplement, because our root causes are different. So for some people, it might be a lack of hydration. For other people, they're not getting enough roughage in their diet. For some people, it's fatty liver that's slowing down their intestines. Other people are taking medications that directly affect the bowels. One of the biggest tips that I can share with your audience, that I share with all of my clients from the very beginning, is if you are constipated, please remove cow dairy from your diet. Milk, butter, yogurt, kefir, all of those things have a really big impact on bowels, especially if you have an undiagnosed milk protein allergy. So when we look at diet, that's one of the first things we do is remove that. Not forever, right? Most people don't need to remove it forever. And same thing with a lot of the people that come to me with food sensitivities. Oh, Melissa, I can't eat onions or garlic or peppers. I can't eat melon because it makes me bloated. I'm having a hard time digesting meat. We fix the gut. The food sensitivities go away. If I tell people, if you like to be on a super restricted diet, stay on the same path. But if you want to fix your gut, those things will go away.
Yeah, and you think about it, we're designed to consume all that and be able to digest them with ease. Do you find it lack of enzymes causes a lot of the gut issues?
For sure, definitely. So I run lab testing for every client. They order their own stool testing kit. They do it in their own house. And the amount of information that we get back is super fantastic. Instead of guessing at which probiotics you're low in and just picking something off the drugstore shelf, I can tell you exactly what you're low in. I can tell you exactly what you're high in. We can take a look at how much digestive enzyme, how much digestive juice you've got, and understand whether that needs to be supplemented. We look for amoeba and protozoa and parasites with that test. We really can dig down to understand how much leaky gut, how much inflammation is happening in the intestines. But for most people, digestive enzymes are a wonderful place to start. If you're listening to this and you're super constipated and you don't know what to do, find a good digestive enzyme, find a good probiotic, take those both for 30 days. Don't quit after 4 days because you're not seeing a result. Your microbiome, right? That's what we call the living stuff that's in our intestines, is like a garden. You don't plant seeds and harvest a crop 3 days later or 5 days later. Sometimes it takes a whole summer. So people need to be patient when you are trying supplements to affect your digestion. It's not one and done. It's a long-term seeding and growing and nourishing of your microbiome. So so sometimes you're right. We need to add things like those. We need to add a lot of minerals to people usually. Most people are very undermineralized. And if your body doesn't have the energy, if your muscles don't have the energy, right? Because it takes peristalsis is the movement of the food through the intestines. That takes energy. comes from minerals, right? So that's another place that we look. We look for exposures to mold, toxic mold that's growing in your home. If you have seen black mold, if you have a lot of mildew, that can affect your health and shut down your bowels. Same thing with parasites. Most people are walking around with parasites. They don't know it. We live very harmoniously, mostly with parasites. They're there for a reason. They gobble up the gunk. But when they become overgrown, it's another reason we can be constipated.
Let's talk about parasites, like passing worms. Like, I'm from Haiti, and we used to see that all the time. In America, not so much, but like
in America, not so much because people don't cleanse. People don't cleanse. I mean, I think, in Native American cultures, they cleanse twice a year. One of the processes that I take people through is a full moon cleanse. During the full moon, you think about it, there's a lot of light in the sky. Your melatonin levels are at their lowest. Your serotonin levels are at their highest. And the parasites are talking to each other and on the move. That's when we hit them. Full moon. You can do it at home. You can start doing things like taking some clove supplement or some pumpkin seeds. Those are known to be parasitic killers. If you do something as gentle as that and you're seeing parasites in your stool, you need a deeper cleanse. And it needs to be of some length because we want to make sure that we get the whole life cycle of the parasite. Right. So the first things that die are the big ones that are taking in the herbs that we're giving them, but then they lay eggs. So we need to continue to cleanse to push all those eggs out. And then we can go on acquiring more. What purpose do parasites serve?
Yeah.
They really are there to gobble up the bad stuff. They love radioactive elements. In cases of Lyme disease, they'll harbor your Lyme disease. So if you're treating Lyme disease in your blood and tissues and you're not killing the parasites that have the Lyme, they're going to consistently kind of spit out that bacteria and reinfect you. So for me with Lyme disease, that was one of the last places. I never thought I had any mold exposure. I was like, my house is really clean. I haven't seen mold. My doctor's like, well, this is what we're doing now. We're testing for people who aren't recovering. We're testing for mold. Sure enough, high levels of mold. Did a parasite cleanse, thought, I don't have any parasites. Boom, parasites. Wow. Big parasites. Yeah, wow. It was shocking at first. And now I have an entire photo album on my phone from clients who've sent me pictures of their parasites. They're there. They're there. We can't ignore the fact that we're living harmoniously with them and that for some of us, it's causing problems.
Yeah, big ones, underlying issues too. So what are some gentle cleansers that you can use specifically for parasites?
One of the companies that I really love to recommend to clients, I like to take people through the parasite cleanse. I like to be their wellness advocate and lead them through because parasite cleansing isn't always comfortable. You are asking something that's nicely seated in your body to get out. They're not so willing to, right? So you can have symptoms like upset stomach, diarrhea. You can have headaches that feels like you're getting the flu. You can have the last parasite cleanse I did over a full moon. I had crazy anxiety. I'm not usually an anxious person. It's not that uncommon. There's a company out there. They make a kit called the Parafy kit, Parafy. The company is called Rogers Hood. It's an apothecary, and they make a full cleansing 30-day kit. Kim is the founder of the company. I know her well. She's leading people in April. And then again, I think in the summer through a 30-day online, you sort of join a group and work through a parasite cleanse. I love that for the people who don't want to work with me directly, but definitely need some type of support. People are scared. I have clients that have had the Parafy kit for 3 months and they call and they say, I just can't do it. I'm too scared. I'm nervous of what's going to happen. I always tell people, number one, if you do it as part of a group, you'll have a little support. And number two, if it's not working for you, you stop, right? We all have to be brave about our health. We all have to understand that even when you go to a medical doctor, they are making recommendations. They are making best guesses for you. And you try. And if it doesn't work, you either find another doctor or you go back to that doctor and say it didn't work. It's the same thing with supplements and things like parasite cleanses. We take the power back. into our own hands, understanding that we are truly the healers of ourselves. Nobody will heal you. You have to believe in it. You have to heal yourself. You seek out the healers in your life and the path that sounds right for you. If you are called and a parasite cleanse feels right to you, try.
Yeah.
You can ask your doctor about supplements and ingredients if you're unsure. You can go to Kim, right, at Rogers Hood during the group cleanse and get the support. But we all have to feel empowered that no one should be telling us what to do. We should be learning about our bodies, experimenting on ourselves gently to try to figure out how to take our health, a step above and above and above. There's so much room. I've been working on my health for so long, and I'm still tweaking my routines, my morning routines. You talk about best morning ever. And my world is constipation. And I have so many clients, Dr. Lunid, who get up in the morning at 6:00 and get out the door by 6:30. The alarm goes off, the panic sets in. They think about the 6 things they have to do while making the coffee, brushing their teeth, putting on their makeup, and they're out the door. There was no time for pooping. Mm-hmm. If you don't make the time for pooping, it's not going to get done. And then you're going to be in that fight or flight, rushing to work, whether it's on the train or by foot or in a car. And by the time you get to work, you are in it. You have not made any time for your parasympathetic to take a break and release and relax. So starting your morning routine for me and my clients is setting your alarm 10 minutes before you need to get up and not falling back asleep. If you tend to fall back asleep, I like people to sit up in their beds. One hand on the heart, one hand on the stomach, eyes closed. Some deep breathing. If people have minds that wander, simple gratitude practice. I'm so grateful I woke up this morning. I'm grateful for the coffee that I smell brewing. I'm grateful for the warm shower I'm about to have. I'm grateful for the bowel movement I'm about to have, right? Just spending that 10 minutes with a glass of water. We lose about a glass of water, 8 ounces of water every night while we sleep due to respiration and perspiration. It's important to put it back in. People think that morning coffee is the reason they move their bowels. A lot of times it's just the act of something going into the stomach, can be water, that starts the liver and the gallbladder digesting, starts pushing things down and moving things out. Your body says, oh, breakfast is coming. I need to make room. But if you don't give yourself that ability to have the space to relax and encourage that bowel movement, and instead you are gunning it from the moment you wake up, right? We need to shift in morning routine.
Yeah. Let's talk about yours. How does yours look like, your morning routine? How do you get up, dress up, and show up?
So I'm an early riser. I wake up between 5:30 and 6:00 most mornings without an alarm. And I definitely lay in bed and do some deep breathing and gratitude very first thing. That's how I lay. I don't tend to fall back asleep, so I lay on my back with my hand on my heart and my hand on my belly. I take deep breaths, right? Things that I'm grateful for. I'll drink some water. I always have water on my nightstand. There's some supplements that I take in the evening, and I just leave them on my nightstand with the water. And then in the morning, my goal is to finish that glass, however much is in that. And then I start my day. I'll wash my face and brush my teeth and poop beautifully every morning. I mean, for me, it's a big indicator of health and stress. If I'm not pooping well in the morning, what's up? What was up with my diet yesterday? How is my stress level? It's a really good place to check in. Mm-hmm. And then my mornings are very gentle. I like to just get up and feel the morning, right? Feel the gratitude, feel into my morning. Start with the bowel movement, start with the washing the face and brushing the teeth, and then I'm ready. Doesn't take too much.
Yeah. It's your own, and it's looking at, as you mentioned earlier, the whole system. It's not just you're mentally getting ready or you're physically getting ready, getting dressed, makeup and all that. We're talking about mental affirmations, calmness in the morning, and your the gut, adding the gut in there, and getting physical movement. How do you empower individuals to change their lifestyle to be able to keep it?
So for me, that's I'm so glad you brought that up, because for me, that's a huge thing. Even though I work with people on pooping, start pooping better is my whole life right now. in order to do that, your foundational health has to be right? Foundational health is good sleep, good nutrition, good hydration, solid movement, and some sort of mindfulness practice or gratitude practice, whatever you want, quieting of the mind. Without those in check, you're starting at a deficit. I have people say, well, wait, I didn't sleep enough. I only get 5 hours of sleep, but I get up early to work out. That's like robbing one for the other, right? You need the sleep and the working out. And it doesn't have to be every day, all the time. Like we talk about routine, important. However, I would rather see my clients sleep in a little bit, get that solid bank of sleep, and then find another time in their day to get that 20-minute or 30 minutes of working out in, if that's how they operate. But I definitely work with them, with everyone on foundational health from the beginning. My program is built on foundational health. We cover all of those because when we talk about root causes of constipation, a lot of that's in foundational health. Nutrition, right? If we're eating too much dairy, we're not having enough roughage, we're going to have problems with constipation. If we're not getting enough water, we all know problems with constipation. Mm-hmm. If you're not sleeping well and you are waking up in the morning in that state of fight or flight, right? You're not going to move your bowels. You're not going to feel well. We need some meditation sometimes to get us into that space so that we can let go and relax. So all of the foundations are super important. And I think once people go through the program and understand how they stack on top of each other, right? It makes a difference and it's lasting. My clients say, like, I've lost 5 pounds, I've kept it off. I've started a new exercise routine, I've kept with it. I now finally know what it's like to be fully hydrated, because they'll say, like, well, I drink a little water, but I don't really like water. So I drink soda or I drink, no, right? We just get back to basics. Like, it's just no. Your body needs water. Your body needs sleep. Your body needs good hydration. That's the foundation of health. And so by educating around constipation, but all of the foundational health topics, people are enabled and empowered to make decisions going forward that are better for them. Once you know, you can't unknow.
Mm-hmm. Right? And the clean gut is a byproduct of all that. That is the basic, the foundation. Melissa, how can we connect with you? How can we find you? Where can we find you?
So the best place to find me is startpoopingbetter.com. I wrote an ebook. It's just basic, because when I ask my clients, what do they want? They say, I just want to start pooping better. Okay, great. Startpoopingbetter.com. Head there. There's a free ebook. I have my favorite recipe for what I call good poop vegetable soup up there. I talk to clients about trying to get 30 fruits and vegetables, 30 different fruits and vegetables a week into their diet. And when I say that, people go, what? Like that? That's so many. But my good poop vegetable soup has 8 or 9 or 10, depending on how you make it. There's lots of variables. That's 10 for the week. You're a third of the way with 1 bowl of soup. So you can pick up that recipe there at startpoopingbetter.com. My other website, Melissa Hall Klepacki, is my name. There's all kinds of information about how to work with me there.
That is fantastic. Melissa, thank you so much for sharing. I've learned quite a bit just listening to you. I
hope you start pooping better, Dr. Lunid.
Yeah. Yes, I do too. Thank you so for the time, and thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
Fantastic.
Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please comment and tell us what was your favorite part, your favorite habit that you are going to try out for yourself today. Comment below. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Until next time, I will see you at the top of your best morning routine ever. Stay blessed.